Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mommy here bringing you another video and Happy New Year. I hope that all of you had a really good holiday season. Holidays can be so stressful. Um, they really can be. And I really think that the stress of the holidays had me a little sick. But I was able to have some time off and I was able to kind of pre-record and kind of upload some videos and I was really happy about that, very happy about that. And, I know YouTube's going to be making a lot of changes in 2022 as far as the content they're going to be promoting and the content that they're going to be monetizing. So I'm just kind of trying to stay on code and stay on brand. I've been reading some new books. I love that with my time off. One of the books I was reading was How to Deal with Difficult People. And trust me, since I have been reading that book, the difficult people they came out. They came out to play to see if I was really, really practicing on it. So yeah, it's 2023 has been something else. It's been quite a year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you ladies because I want to make it a point to talk to you ladies about some of the things that I feel like we need to discuss and see simply because they are, I don't know, I feel things that just don't get discussed enough in this space. I feel like, there's so many great content creators who cover the pop culture issues, and the current events like Megan Thee Stallion, and they do such a great job. But then there's certain things on the level up I just want us to make sure that we're talking about, okay? So this one here is I put it on my community tab a while back, and I just wanted to play it again and break it down for you because I feel as if he said a lot in a very short period of time. And I'm just wondering if we're picking up what he's laying down because it was a little subtle. So I'll play it right now.
Like, I can't walk on stage and be like, black people. It's like, whoa there, boat shoes. No. You don't get to have a bold stance on race and the keys to your parents' lake house. That's not how this life works. I used to do recruiting work. I ended up at a career fair at Dartmouth College. And while I was there, I saw this girl walking around who was African-American, very attractive, and she looked exactly like this girl I went to school with. And I really wanted to tell her that. Then a voice in my head was like, yeah, don't say that. Because best case scenario, all she was going to hear is, oh, cute. Zach Morris thinks all black people look the same, right? So I ended up talking to her anyway, and I mentioned where I went to school. She goes, oh, Rice, long shot. But did you have a class with my identical twin sister? And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I was going to say something, but I thought I'd sound racist because you're black. And she was like, no, but now you do. Whenever I bring up race, it just sounds a little bit racist. Like, I can't walk on stage and be like, black people. It's like, whoa there.
Okay, ladies, did you kind of get what he was saying? So he wanted to let me start here. I have a guest I'd like to introduce you ladies to. Content creator Samantha Cooker has joined us. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So glad to be here. Thank you, Mocha Mommy, for having me.
Thank you so much for all you do and the amazing content you create. So how has 2023 been for you so far?
It has been dynamic. I'm getting my everything together. Things I've been praying for. It's coming together. Things are flowing, and so I'm just looking forward to what's coming up next. So like I said, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so grateful you were able to join us. You have such a great platform, and definitely a lot of the points in this was inspired by your series that you did for the Awkward Black Girl. And
Right.
yeah, that was phenomenal. Like, you really touched on a lot of topics, and seeing just how prevalent social anxiety on certain levels can really be for Black women when we're expected to have Black girl magic, or people talk about how we're too loud or too much. And the fact that you really addressed that population, that was really great, and it was very compassionate of you.
Thank you.
So did you get a chance to see this clip of this comedian?
Yes, I did. He was very self-aware.
Right, right. And what did you think of it when, when he told, even in a very short period of time, did you feel it was very loaded, or do you feel like, did you kind of hear, what did you hear from what he was saying?
He was trying not to be disrespectful, and which is something you can appreciate with men of no color. He was trying to be respectful, and sometimes we can be very guarded. And so sometimes they don't know how to talk to us because they feel that they're going to trigger us. They're going to say the wrong thing. They don't want to be called racist. Anytime a person of color, that's like we don't want to be called the N-word, but they would hate to be called the R-word. And so I think he was trying to avoid that, but he still stepped into his own mess. So it was an interesting. It was a good joke. It was a good joke.
Right. And it's funny because I saw this and then I started following this comedian, and I realized like he actually, comes from a pretty wealthy family. Mm-hmm. Went to a very good school. He went to Rice, and that's a lot of oil money. Right. It's the most woke campus you could ever be a part of, caring about the environment, all there on their dad's oil money. Very interesting campus. And he made a point about his privilege, like, whoa there, boat shoes, and I was just kind of wondering, like, and he name dropped quite a bit to let us know his class. Like, I was at Dartmouth doing a recruiting event,
right.
And do you know my sister? Right? Like, there was some subtle flexes in there, and I was just wondering, did we pick that up? Do we recognize the flex when these guys are dropping the names of the schools they went to, or you can't have a stance on race and keys to your parents' lake house? So he was definitely harping on the fact that he came from money.
Right. And I noticed that with people, well, in general, I noticed that. And most people will kind of tell you about themselves without telling you, and you have to pick up on those hints. And I've learned to add that into even my dating style. When someone says, I was in the military, I'll say, oh, I work for Army Corps of Engineers. I let them know that I know their world. And sometimes it's kind of good to do that, just to let people know that, you've been around the world, some things, you're not some hood booger, not to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But, I know what I'm doing around these parts, and people with class will name drop. They'll do all those type of things to let what they want to tell you. So.
Yeah, I noticed it was like in the context of a joke, but there was a lot of subtle flexes in there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so ladies, just be very aware of that when you're in certain circles.
I noticed that too. Better to brag about boat shoes than Jordan shoes. I noticed that comment. It's a good one.
And these shoes, like the Hey Dudes, the Birkenstocks, it's a subtle flex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I did my running shoe review, I was kind of dropping them hints, like, check out the flex with these guys in their running shoes, like, because they're certainly saying something without saying it.
The way someone speaks, what they wear. Like if you ever go into somebody's office and you see their fraternity or sorority, that's telling you something. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that. You can pick up where somebody is coming from and vice versa, right?
Right. I think he was definitely. I mean, and if you watch his comment, you could notice too. He kind of has that. He laughs at his upper crust privilege because he talks about going to Ivy League schools and what it was like being a pharmaceutical sales rep So yeah, he's funny, and but ladies, just kind of notice that, pick up what people are not saying, but not saying, or saying very subtly, because I feel like we're very. That's one of the blessings of Black women. We are out there. We don't hold anything back. We say what we think.
Right, to a fault. You got to find that balance between saying it and being much more subtle, especially when dating people of different races. Other people have more unique language styles, and they're more passive. So that's something you can develop. But I think a lot of people, they like the fact that African Americans are direct, because we're not going to dance, especially if we're offended. We're going to let you know what you did, what time you did it. But again, when you leave it all out there, sometimes you share too much, and people know too much. So it's finding that balance, especially as women, on what to share and what not to share and how to share it. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do feel like it's a blessing and a curse, the fact that we are so open and so many people can appreciate that. But then at the same time too, we do need to move in silence, have like the book of Esther in the Bible. If you do read the Bible, like you have all the information, but just be careful who you reveal it to and when you reveal it to them.
That's a good analogy. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do have another clip for you ladies, because I know that so many of us have some wellness goals going into 2023. But I kind of feel as if when it comes to our wellness journey, a lot of us are sort of like kind of punishing ourselves, and we're not bringing in a support system. It's kind of like we are doing like little YouTube workout videos in the corner by ourselves. Like we don't really have a support system for our wellness goals. And so I just wanted to show this clip.
That original video, it was on accident. I was just recording myself, and then all of a sudden, Auntie pops out of nowhere, and she goes, and I kind of look at her, and at that moment, I forgot the camera was rolling, so I was kind of just like, oh, it's completely okay. Like you could just walk right by, no big deal. I really want to be considerate to everybody else in the gym too, because it's a public space.
I walked by when I saw Daniel and saw the low body fat and the cuts. I was like, wow. So then when I walked in and realized I was, interrupting his workout, I just apologized, but I just told him briefly, I was like, your arms was blinding me. Excuse me for walking in the middle of the camera. I didn't even know that it was still rolling.
And so after that interaction was recorded, I was like, this is so funny. Like, I think this is hilarious. It's a very positive reaction. Let me just try to upload this and see what happens. I wasn't really thinking much about it, and all of a sudden it just blew up, and that's kind of like how it all started. And then like there was a bunch of comments too, and just amazing positive comments. People were commenting on the interaction, Auntie saying, whoop. It just kept gaining momentum. And
when he showed me just the reaction and just what everybody was saying, I thought it was also, I was shocked, and I was awesome. I didn't understand why it took off like that, but it was definitely a good thing. It's fun. I just thought it was so funny.
I think in the comments, someone was like, she's Auntie. And I was like, man, maybe she'll be our gym Auntie. And I was like, we're going to call you Gym Auntie because that's what everyone on social media is calling you. So I hope that's okay. And you're like, I guess that's Gym Auntie.
Like as we were reading the compliments and the comments and stuff like that. So that's how that came out. I was fine with it. Look, when people put in hard work and they look good, I believe in complimenting them. I'm in the beauty business. That's what I do. And it's no different from complimenting somebody from head to toe.
You know, just the genuineness of her compliment really did make my day. And I think that was my caption. You know, she made my day for real. You know, I love videos like this because it's hope for mankind. You know, I love videos like.
Okay, so then all the rest of it is just advertisement for GMA, because that's where this clip was. It turned out that, you know, Gym Auntie got 1.6 million views in the first 72 hours. And now she is sort of like a TikTok celebrity. So what was your thought, Samantha Cooker, on Gym Auntie, and what did you take away from it?
It was so interesting. First off, I want to talk about how you're seeing more and more Asian men not be this wimpy, short, emasculine type of man. You're seeing more and more Asian men who are strong, so everybody is shifting. So whether it's Black women losing weight and becoming more softer, Asian men are become. They've always been masculine, right? They've always been good providers. They've always been protectors, X, Y, and Z. But the height thing and them being so small has played a part in them not being as masculine as others. And so everybody's on their journey. I think every group is on their journey. But I also I liked Gym Auntie because it showed two different groups of people just enjoying the gym. And like Mocha Mommy said, we can all find our lane and find those people who can help us on our journey to get more fit. And, you know, we don't have to be jealous of people who are further along. We don't have to be jealous of people who are younger than us, or, you know, just men in general lose weight much faster than we do. And we can get the support we need in the place where we need it, you know, with our fitness goals. So I really thought it was so cute, you know, and he was very respectful of her and she was respectful of him. And it worked out. You know, she's a viral sensation. They both are. So that's great.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it just goes to show you, like, you never know where you're going to find that encouragement. You never know how far a little kindness will take you, because, you know, Gym Auntie, you know, was there to try to get fit. And now all of a sudden this trainer is now, you know, because he's a personal trainer, has his own personal training business. She is now one of his clients. And, you know, if you look at some of her more recent videos, she looks good. Gym Auntie, you can tell. Gym Auntie's really on her level up. And he has been a huge support for her. And then she has helped him branch out the business. And then the two of them together are the most unlikely duo, but yet and still, they're just a really encouraging force. And I just wanted to encourage you ladies, like, you know, if Gym Auntie had been sitting in the corner, you know, by herself, you know, working out at home because she thinks, you know, she can't show up, she would have never had this opportunity. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not on TikTok, but when I do see like the little Gym Auntie clips, it does make me happy, because I'm so happy for her and her wellness journey and the fact that she has a support system.
Right. And you know, even if you're older, you think you're past your prime, it's never too late to work on yourself. It's never too late to get healthier. I saw a conversation on TikTok about how so many young people are losing their parents. And so Generation X, baby boomers, please take care of your health. Even if your parents live to 80, that is not guaranteed for you. Okay. Living long and being healthy takes work. It takes work. Okay. It is a job. All of the older people I used to sit for, they were vegetarians, they were runners, they were active, you know, they were readers, they were keeping their mind sharp. And so toward the end, it got dicey, but they lived, you know what I'm saying? They put in the effort. And some of them started like this ladies. They started in their 50s and 60s to get themselves together. and they were on their path and they were able to see their great grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Don't take your health for granted, you know?
Agreed. And I think that everybody has a starting point, and there is encouragement for it. People who are super fit, who are willing to help people who are from ground zero, and people who are ground zero willing to help each other. You know, and I just find too, like, having that life and having it more abundantly, like, you know, yeah, you want to have a great life, you want to live long, but you also want to have a good quality of life. And, you know, wellness is a huge part of that, a good quality of life. And, you know, because nobody wants to live for 20 years in a nursing home. Nobody wants to live, you know, for 20 years in assisted living or with arthritis and in pain. You know, nobody wants to, they want to have a full, long life. And the fact that she took her health, that she was taking her health seriously, and then she found some allies. So ladies, don't be afraid to put your health journey out there. You'd be surprised. Let me tell you something. Black women are the only people struggling with their weight. Black people are the only people struggling with their wellness and fitness.
Right.
There's a lot of encouragement out there for you.
And your encouragement doesn't have to come from Black women. It can come from whoever's available, whoever's skilled, whoever's not going to, you know, make excuses for you or anything like that, you know. So your help, your support can come from a multicultural women's running group. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to be afraid of that. Just lean in and be open to however you're going to get your support.
Exactly. Be open to whoever, I mean, and or multi-generational, like this particular situation. Just really make sure that you're not struggling alone, because there's help and support out there for you on your wellness journey. And the help and support is what's going to really help you be more successful, because studies have shown that again and again. If you have a support system, your wellness journey, you know, that's an incredible part, whether that support come from a trainer, the medical community, or just even the community you build. Support's incredible. So please, ladies, seek support on your medical journey. I mean, on your health journey, because we just want you to be the healthiest you can be in 2023. So,
and let me just add this before you move on. A lot of issues are very much connected to weight, right? Knee problems, psychological issues, all that stuff. We hate to harp on it, but it really is connected to how your heart is working, how your body is processing foods, how your hormones, you know what I'm saying, especially as we get older as women, a lot of it is very much connected to how much your frame is having to carry. And so, you know, take it one day at a time. So I'll let you move on. I'm sorry.
No, that's amazing, because I want to make sure that we get like encouragement for our wellness journey, because I know sometimes it could be a challenge. It's going to be days when it's not easy, but I just want to encourage you ladies that encouragement's out there, support is out there, and to not shy away from it, because you just never know. Being kind to someone in the gym, at the health food store, could really lead to you having a really great support system. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and let people know that you're on a journey. So I have another clip, and this one is definitely around EQ and social anxiety. I'm starting to find that Black women, we're getting a lot of opportunities in the workplace. We're getting a lot of opportunities socially, but sometimes we might not have the skill set to communicate ourselves as clear as we need to. Sometimes, you know, I know you did a really great live last night on the identity politics, and that was great, because I really think that that's something that we need to talk more about. But anyway, what has been your experience in the corporate world, and having, because I know that you do have speaking as part of your, you know, your profession. Tell me a little bit about how you developed that skill over time, and then the politics, workplace politics, with being able to communicate clearly?
I kind of had two different personas. I had the out of office persona, and I was, talking. I do motivational speaking, but I was quiet as a church mouse at work. And I really had to unwind and figure out what was going on that caused me, and I still struggle with it. What causes me to go into like a shell, to become like a turtle, instead of,
Right.
using my voice to train, to coach, to, just be more involved. And I was just terrified. I was, I don't want to say terrified, but just afraid of saying the wrong things, afraid of sounding dumb, afraid. And so I just had to push past all of that. Those of you who can hear me, I have a very big voice. And so I didn't sometimes, and then I come from the Northeast. So those of you from the Northeast, we have a very direct communication style that doesn't
Yeah, that's
often
true.
gel with the West Coast. It doesn't often gel with the South.
That's
And then
true.
just the sound of my voice is louder than most. It's deeper than most women. And so, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to come off too sharp. I don't want to, all of that stuff. And I kind of had to just say it. I kind of had to get around those fears. And I wish it was a prayer that it all went away. But I really just had to I really just had to say, just open your mouth. And that's when the healing came, of getting around those fears. And, once I got more open in the meetings, once I started asking more questions, throwing my weight around, all of a sudden they started coming to me. Can you help train the new people? Can you help do this? We would like you to do a presentation. And it's like, oh my goodness, Lord, I was sitting on my gift. And it's been quite a journey. And even like, y'all know how it is, even with emails. I was on TikTok, and I didn't realize how much white women use their passive voice in emails. And I saw this one TikTok. I said, why would they do that? But I thought about some of the reactions I've gotten to emails. And I said, that's why they must get triggered when I say what I say in an email, because I'm not, sad to say, dumbing it down.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
being too passive in my emails, and it's coming across too sharp. And me being the blessed, what are you? The blessing of being a Black woman, they're definitely reading attitude and sharpness in it. So I had to retune how I sent emails so that it did not come across sharp. I didn't mean it to come across sharp, but that's how they received it. And I would get
Right.
feedback like, what did you mean by that? And all that. And it's usually women of no color.
Yep.
It
Mhm.
usually wasn't the men of no color who had, because they're, men tend to be sharper than women, but sometimes women of no color, with us, they can be who they are.
Yeah, play the
So
victim card a little bit.
it's been a journey. It's been a journey in finding the balance, because sometimes I've spoken out of turn, and I've had to learn to hold back the reins, oversharing, learning how to overshare, learning how to be comfortable with small talk, and because nobody's trying to talk about this stuff in the corporate
Exactly.
space. They're trying to talk about dogs and fitness goals and stuff like that. So learning how to keep it light, so it's a learning process, and I've gotten better with time. And you grow through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm mid-level in my career, but I'm kind of new at this job. And so when you have a little bit more skin at a job, you can get away with certain stuff. But when you're kind of newer, you kind of got to be nice. You got to save face. So it's a balancing act.
With me, I noticed it was my body language and facial expressions.
Wow.
Yeah, because like in the military, right, you can't talk back, right? You know what I mean? You
Right.
can only speak when like you're spoken to or given like, permission, especially if there's like a rank structure in place. But I still got my point across. It was like my body language and my facial expression, so I had to kind of watch that like a lot, like my body language and my facial expressions, you know. And also too, I think when you're in a caring profession or a healthcare profession, people tend to like dump on you a little bit, you know, like disclose a little bit too much.
Right.
So
Right.
learning how to have a good boundary to rein those conversations in. Like, you know, even with live streams, like I have to kind of like, okay, we're going to keep it to this amount of time and we're going to stay on subject, you know, because it's like you just have to like learning how to rein those things in, because people could just, you ask them one question, like you could be an orthopedic and they telling you about their blood work. Like, whoa.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's another thing I had to really work with. You know, yeah, us New Yorkers, we do. Even if you're not from, I mean, like, right, even just saying you're a Black woman from Queen. She already, there right there, you're going to pop on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if everybody's mad at a situation, you have a legitimate reason to be mad at the situation.
Mhm.
Everybody's mad. For some reason, you're more mad.
Right.
I mean, but it's just, yeah. And I've just had to really learn that. And I mean, and I'm so grateful for, and then going from military to civilian world, how
That's true.
military medicine is very much about efficiency. Civilian world is very much about customer service and compassion.
Mhm.
So that was another thing that I had to learn with my communication.
Yeah, and sometimes I would, like, my intention was compassionate, but it came across as too sharp. So I had to learn how to soften the tone a little bit, or just do different things to let people know I was being sincere. I would touch them if they were comfortable, or I would say it with a smile. A lot of times, you talked about facial expressions. For a long time, we weren't able to talk, and so we weren't able to be free with our emotions. So we would talk with our face. And we still do that. And you know, people, and of course, what we have to say
Yeah,
is written all over our face.
that's true.
So we're not hiding it. So yeah, I used to talk a lot with my face too. So I have to, you know, I know you have to deal with it as a nurse, but you know, that just comes with growth and maturity, and just being more self-aware. You have the clip right here.
Yeah,
I really want
exactly.
to get into that, because that's what really helped me. And it's helping me because I'm gonna start doing it more. So
Right.
watching yourself on film or hearing yourself can really show you what others see when they communicate with you. So
Right. I can honestly say YouTube helped me see how many filler words but anyway, ladies, I'm going to play the clip for you so you ladies can see what this communication specialist is communicating to you ladies about how you can better improve both your verbal and nonverbal communication.
Is you must video record a 5-minute video of yourself. It can't be planned, it can't be rehearsed, it has to be impromptu. The first time you review it, this is called an auditory review. Turn the sound all the way up, press play, turn it around. Just listen and take notes on your vocal foundations. How's my volume? Is there emotion in my voice? Am I pausing? Take notes, build self-awareness. Next, this is called a visual review. This time put it on mute, press play, just look at yourself. This is an extremely excruciating process. I can see some of your faces, because when you do this, you immediately go, that's not how I look. That's not how I sound. It's how you look and sound. It's how others are perceiving you. You go through this process once, it changes how you come across. And then the final way, get the video transcribed. And then you get a red highlighter, like the times you failed in school. Sorry, that's my story. And then you just highlight all of your non-words and all of your filler words. Become extremely aware of the words that are robbing you of credibility and robbing you of authority. The first thing you must do is you must video record a 5-minute video of yourself. It can't be planned, it can't be rehearsed.
I really did like this video because I felt like he gave us an assignment to do. And I liked it also because I feel as if people say to introverts will go for advice on how I can be more extroverted, but then they say just be extroverted, and nobody gives them any steps to take. So I think this is a really good idea for those of you ladies who are trying to be more extroverted to make it a point to be, you know, aware of how you're communicating and see how you can improve it. So I just know that a lot of you ladies who are from different regions of the United States, I appreciate you ladies chiming in about that, about Southerners and Northerners, where we tend to be a little bit more direct. And then some of you in the South, definitely very polite with your conversation. I will give you that. But then again, too, like I agree with you what you said, V. Y'all give a lot of details, and it's so polite. And then also too, the way y'all throw shade too, like the bless his heart thing.
Oh yeah. Southerners, they have a special way of reading you for filth in the nicest way.
With a smile.
Right.
But have
so
you
if you are an extrovert, just try little things. Don't overthink it. The pandemic has actually helped me to be more extroverted. And I just started chatting with the you know, and it's probably me getting older, but chatting with the cashier. Oh, that's a nice blouse. Oh, thank you so much for helping me. I mean, just kind of get out of your shell. Sorry to those of you in in fast food and stuff, but yeah, those are easy ways. Those interactions are great to develop your small talk skills, to develop your you know, and stop being afraid of what you say to people of no color, what you say to the sister girl, what you just get more comfortable talking. Get more comfortable talking, and you'll find it's not so bad. You'll find where you need to balance it out and not overshare or X, Y, and Z. Like people used to say, "How was your weekend?" And I would say good, and that was it.
Right.
They didn't realize I was being rude. They were asking me to elaborate on what I did. And it took me a minute to catch that was just, you know, those one-word answers, especially those of us who grew up in a strict household where we as children were not allowed to talk a lot, or a lot of our parents were emotionally checked out. So they didn't talk with us. They didn't develop those communication skills with us. You know, that lingers into adulthood. So that's those of you who are mommies, please talk to your children. Okay, because that's how they get comfortable talking to others. You know what I'm saying? That's how they know that people are interested in what they have to say. You know what I'm saying? So a part of my journey was, you know, I didn't think people cared enough to know what my opinions were. I didn't think they were. I thought I was bothering them to talk to them. And I had to just get over myself and just say, just talk, you know, and they'll respond accordingly and move on from there. But like I was too much in my head, you hear what I'm saying? And I needed to let it out. So just take it one day at a time and you'll find your lane.
I agree. And I think too, like those, like, you know, you said those early discouragements, and Conscious Queen, she brought that up too, that by the time she was in middle school, she kind of stopped being inquisitive about people and about people and their emotional well-being, and you know, taking that sign as like this conversation is not welcome. But I just definitely want to encourage you to give it another try now that you're around a more mature crowd. And small talk is really, really a great skill. And when you do say how your weekend is, you'll be surprised how many people would invite you along, or when you talk a little bit about, I know there's a few aspiring business owners here in this chat. It might be an opportunity to say a little bit about your business. You'll be surprised how much advice and resources people are willing to offer you if you're just, or even willing to patron your business if you just speak up about it and, speak with confidence and speak with authority, but yet at the same time, making sure that nonverbal communication is there too. So ladies, just make sure that your New Year's resolutions, they can be as lofty as they can be, but then divide it up into these little steps, as this gentleman talks about, so that you can make those lofty goals achievable.
True Mystique says she's more of a written communicator than verbal. Same here. So you must be pretty, and that's why like a lot of writers are introverts. It takes that type of mind to be able to go in and chew that subject up and then spit it out on paper. But you have to provide a balance. You have to come out of your shell. Come up off the paper. We want to meet you in 3D. People want to know you in 3D. You know what I'm saying? So, with writing, you can edit, you can go back, you can change it around, you can work with the words. Whereas if you're like right now, ad-libbing, it's a little bit more risky. And so some of us want to fall back on the writing, on the written communication, because it's a little bit safer. We can do more. We have a little bit more control. But like,
very true.
If you do what this gentleman said and just look at yourself, listen to yourself, and like I said, keep working on it, you'll get more comfortable. And so your writing style can match your, oral communication style.
Yeah,
and I think one good example of that is Bishop Jakes. His writing is great, but he had a stuttering issue. He was shy, and you can't tell him nothing now.
I didn't know that.
He had to graduate to be this great orator. It didn't just happen overnight, but it was in him, and he could write it down. But he had to learn how to build his vocabulary, build his volume, get comfortable talking in front of people, so, it can be done.
Right. That's so interesting, because I've heard that about like American presidents like Thomas Jefferson and Abe Lincoln. But then by the time we came to the age of the television with, Kennedy and Nixon, that presidents being good orators now were something, and I did not know that about TD Jakes. I'm really glad you said that. Like, I didn't know that. And I mean, I think V gave a good example saying it was good, but how about you, right? Take that cue. Well, do they want to talk, or are they trying to get you to talk?
Right.
I mean, I feel like here in Texas, if you say, how about them Cowboys? That's a big pivot. Like you will find out a whole bunch of stuff about, if you say something about the Dallas Cowboys, that's an automatic conversation starter. Like,
right.
The Cowboys. I'm serious. You could be in a fire and the firefighter.
That's true. Yeah. And that's a great conversation starter. Honey, you start talking about sports and men from a cubicle down the road will come around, talk. You be like, dude, get out of here.
Yes.
Men love sports,
They do. A lot of them do. And I just was saying too, like, I remember first time my girlfriend, she was doing online dating, and we were going through profiles, and a guy had a Chicago Bears jersey on. I said, talk to that guy. Why is he wearing a Chicago Bear jersey in Texas? So communicate with him.
That's good. That's a good one. Yep.
And I was saying, like, hey, because out of state jerseys, like, why are you wearing an out of state jersey in Texas, especially if a team is bad? So it turns out he was from Illinois. He played high school football. He talked to us about the team he played for. We didn't even have to run this man through Ben Verified. We just Googled what he was talking about when he played high school football. We found his childhood address. We found newspaper clippings of of the games that he was in. You know, we found his aunt's current address. So I'm telling you, like, men will give you a lot of information by just. So how about them Cowboys? Like, you'll be surprised how much information they'll give you.
So you used Ben Verified, and what else did you use?
Yeah, we just had to Google what he said because he told us what high school he went to.
Oh, you got his name and just went to work, huh?
And then we didn't have to even use Ben Verified because he told us the high school he went to because he was a high school football player. He told us that the people who made the NFL from his high school. He told us the biggest high school rival. He talked to us about some game that people still talk about today. I'm sure they don't, but you know, in his mind, you know, I mean, we tracked down. I mean, we even found the article and found his picture in the local paper. Like I'm serious because they give you a lot of information. I mean, ask somebody about, you know, hey, when was the first time you noticed Tom Brady was special? That guy been playing like 20 years, you know?
Right.
I mean, we had a new neighbor. And when I asked him that question, I'm telling you, he gave me the last 12 years of his life. Some Tom Brady.
You want to listen, men have even worse diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah, it was a subject
is
to care
a major
about.
way for them to open up.
Yeah.
So.
Especially if it's something they care about. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like, you know, the whole thing with the World Cup, I'm serious, the international, the physicians from other parts of the world who you never hear, they were all in every conversation. Who saw this and who saw that? I mean, in the break room with it on, changing the channels, and I mean, talking all kinds of mess. I mean, you wouldn't believe. I was like, this is the most I've ever heard you talk in the last 2 years you worked here. They care about that type of thing. So, you know, ladies, just be willing to open and willing to listen and engage in conversation. And I just feel sports is safer than politics.
That's good. That's true.
So I feel like sports and like best-selling novels are always good icebreakers for me. What are some of your icebreakers? Like some of the good icebreakers that you found?
I like to talk about like local events, like if there's a parade or did you hear the latest such and such just opened up? Are you going to go and try it? So I kind of, you know, stick to, you know, whatever's going on in the local area and go from there. Or children is pretty safe with women.
Mm-hmm.
And men too. So children are, you know, just think positive. Don't get too deep into religion or politics or anything like that. You know, don't talk about the president. Just sports is very, very safe. I'm trying to get more comfortable with sports, but yeah, that stuff is good.
Yeah, I feel like I work around a lot of people who read a lot and a lot of people who love sports. And I think local events, that's a good idea. I mean, because then that might be opportunities to network, to find out where they eat, or because now that I don't do the happy hour as much, you know, my husband still does, because I think in that line of work, because they work remotely, they're looking for opportunities to get together. But yeah, I think that's a good one. I like that local event. That's a good one.
Mocha Mommy, how long you been married?
21 years.
21 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were divested before it was a thing.
Yeah, you lost quite a few friends.
Yeah. Wow.
And
that's
you know, you had some of your family members. There's a couple aunts. Like, it probably wasn't until I had my second child that we started talking again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. But, you know, I think some of my family members, they were quick to come around. Like, I feel my dad was my strongest advocate.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
because
beautiful.
you know, my dad was in the skilled trade and he worked around a lot of Hispanic people.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, when my husband's family met my family, my dad spoke more Spanish than I didn't realize how much he knew. But other people just had issues like, well, you went all the way to Howard and you came back with this. I'm like,
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's so rude. You say yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
You know what Howard was like in the 90s? Like, no. No, that
That's
was
exactly what I did.
yeah. No.
They said it, they still say Howard is, let's say just the gender disparity, but
Yes.
that's real for most HBCUs.
That is yes.
For
Mhm.
HBCU, you're going there for education. You're not going there to get married. You're not
Right. Well, that's hard to explain
right.
to aunts who have been doing that for a few generations.
Come on, that's true. That's true.
And I think one of the things too I had brought up on one of my book clubs, I had talked about Rachel Lindsay and her being a Delta, that expectation that she had to marry a Q, an Omega Psi Phi, because that's basically what built the Black middle class in Dallas. So
Wow.
I was trying to explain, like, so when women have these expectations, it doesn't make them a mammy or a mule. It just means that that's what my church pastor did, and that's what my aunt and uncles did. So why would I? It doesn't mean they brainwashed or they're a black male worshiper. It just maybe was how they were raised.
Right. It worked for them, but it may not work for me right now.
Right. Exactly. And then her meeting a Hispanic guy who was together, like how that was hard for her.
Wow.
She had that was one of the things he was a front runner from the beginning, but she was talking about how it was hard for her to contemplate being with somebody like, what, you only 30 something and you're in private practice already? And you know what I mean? Like, that ambition was just hard to find from an immigrant.
Right.
Yeah. Well, of course, we know immigrant families tend to be, but yeah, that ambition from being from an immigrant family, that was something she hadn't experienced. She was still trying to, she was still playing build a brother up,
Come on. Yep.
From guys who had good families, who were from 2-parent homes, who did go to college.
Tell the truth.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing. That's a thing. Like, that Greek life, and then understand that that's some people's family lineage.
You're right. You're right.
And then what happens now that I have 2 daughters? Well, what's the decision they're gonna make?
Right. Now it's your turn, Mocha Mommy, to do the screening, to be supportive or coach them into something else, or that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So just be prayerful, because my daughters are at that age now where they're making like life altering decisions, and that's scary. All you can do is sit back and watch and hope that they know enough.
Right. And don't sit back too hard now. They gonna still come to mama.
Yeah, that's true. But then one of them, my youngest one was doing her laundry, and I'm like, how you gonna go to such and such a place and you can't even match your socks?
Right.
You know what I mean?
The time flew by, huh?
Yeah. And then you start questioning things, and I'm just trying to take it easy. Oh, and so we have a Delta here, and we have an Omega Pearl here. We have Poodle Gang representing, so we have a few of us Black groups. So y'all, for sure, be just before we go calling folks mammies, and just take a step back for a second. That might just be their family.
Yep.
That just might be their family. And also too, like, since 2020, a lot of us been writing checks for y'all to get stuff, or for patroning a lot more Black businesses. We're a little bit more conscious and socially aware. Don't be writing folks off. Black women still need green money.
Right. Come on. Yep.
So don't be too divested where you are not getting opportunity. So if there's something where you can still get an opportunity, still take advantage. Still take advantage, ladies. So, I mean, I just want to keep that encouragement. So what are some of your, I guess, resolutions for 2023 as far as how you're going to be improving?
I don't want to say too much. How I'm going to be improving in terms of, language and emotional intelligence, or
Right.
I'm still trying to push myself out more at work. There's a lot of shuffling going around, and this is the best time to assert myself as a leader, take on more challenges, X, Y, and Z. So I'm really trying to push myself out there and not fly under the radar. I'm also, I'm even going to, the conversation we had yesterday, I'm going to try and go in the office more often and be more visible to my upper management, try and engage with them a little bit more. The universe has opened up opportunities where I'm getting bigger projects. So I have, VPs who are looking at my work and stuff like that. But I really want to build those relationships. So those are some of the things I'm working on, and even working on my personal brand professionally and personally, working on my personal brand, so that I am, I hate to say it like this, but so they see me as one of the good ones.
Yes.
I know that sounds wrong, and you're not allowed to talk like that, but listen, I'm about that money. And so if being one of the quote unquote good ones is going to elevate me to that level, then I'm going to do what I got to do and just cash those checks. And y'all can feel salty, or, other people can criticize me, but that's what I'm working on, because it's about the bag. It's about the bag. Some of know my story. I lost my marriage this year. So it's really about, I have to replace an income. I have to replace 2 incomes, because he had 2 streams of income. And so, the ball's in my court. It's showtime. So some of you have seen, some of you, I recognize some of your names from my channel, it's trying to grow that channel. And once I do what this gentleman said in this video, I can hear where my filler words are. So I'm really learning how to just some of you even notice I've cleaned up my language. Had to do that. All that stuff are resolutions. So that's where I am right now.
Yeah, right. That's good. I feel like there's a reoccurring theme in my life of where I'm going to have to, not just professionally, but personally, because I've been offered a leadership role, but that is going to require me to delegate leadership to other people.
Come on now.
So
Yep.
Have to raise up another generation of leaders. And now I'm going to have to trust them, to make sure that they're prepared to execute as leaders. They have the experience. Some of them, many of them, and they have the education, but what's stopping them? And how can I encourage them to be like, hey, listen, you have to step into this role, because if it's not filled or filled by the wrong person, how is this negatively going to affect you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then 2, raising 2 young adults, they're going to just have to be decisions that, as much as I want to make it for you, you're going to have to make it, because you're going to have to pay the consequences, whether those consequences be good or bad. So that, and then 2, when I'm seeing with this channel, looking at the young analytics, like there really has to be a sense of responsibility that you have to take for what it is you say.
Right.
And even if you don't blow up or go viral, you never know. I just feel like there's been channels. It's interesting too, because one of the videos I'm working on is how YouTube is changing the algorithm, and how some of these successful YouTubers, what it took for them to get where they're at. Mm-hmm. A lot of it started when they're at the less than 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Which is, you know what I mean? A lot of it started with how they're changing the algorithm, what's going to be monetized, and high profile YouTubers getting in trouble.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And how they're going to avoid that, because there could be some litigation that is going to be coming through.
Yep.
You know, being responsible with your communication and that, because we're seeing that already especially with the crypto guys.
Right.
And then other people using YouTube to, well, you know, I'll talk about it once it becomes, I don't want to talk about it too soon, you know, because we all know people are getting in trouble. And so we got to be more responsible. And even so, like laying a foundation for, if somebody's to watch your content 3 years from now, because this subject that you're talking about is popping, what did you say? What did you leave behind? What digital footprint did you leave? You know, so just I think responsibility, encouraging other people with it. That's where I'm at in 2023. And of course, there were the regular things too, you know, be well, you know, run a race every month. I was sick, so I couldn't do one for January, but I already booked my February race, run a race for every month.
Oh my gosh.
It's just a 5K. Even if it's just a 5K. And then
it's just a 5K. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You'll be surprised how it's an amazing bonding opportunity. Even if you walk it, it's an amazing bonding opportunity. I just suggest it for a lot of women because it's an amazing opportunity. You'll meet people. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm thinking can I make it with my foot? But then I'm looking at somebody's out here with a double knee replacement. They made it across that finish line. So yeah, please, definitely, ladies, do a running club for sure. And like, also read more, a little bit less social media, a little bit more reading, even if it's Audible. But ladies, I want to thank you for joining me, and I want you to have a good afternoon and a good 2023. And thank you so much, Samantha Cooker, for joining us on this live, because I really appreciate it. I know that you're a busy woman with a great platform, so thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I will see you ladies in the next video, and just continue to stay encouraged. 2023 is going to be an amazing year. Thank you.